Who ready? We ready. Who ready? We ready. Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Motivation to youth only. Mentally feel like Kobe. I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me. I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili. From young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's the reach. We ready. Who ready?
Shawnee, you on mute, brother.
Damn, I'm over here giving the intro to
Yeah, I think.
Oh man. Well, no, man, everybody, appreciate y'all for joining us, man. It's the 1-1 Sports Show. Again, my name is Shawnee, since I'm off of mute. We have my man Trey. Mr. Bennett, he was up on here. He'll be back. And Dante, he had to work. He's doing family things. So good wishes to Dante. Hope he make it home safely and all that.
Sure.
So Trey, what's up, man? How's everything going?
I mean, everything's beautiful, man. Summer's winding down to an end, man. You know, it's almost that time, man. Just a few more days, man, and you know, just overcoming a little bit of adversity on my end, but it's all good, man. You know, it's all good. Though. For I make it just do what I have to do, man. I can't complain about it. Shit.
I see you was saying summer's coming down to an end. In Texas, that August is like summer is giving us the last hit, and to locally today it was like 105.
Yeah.
So it's just I think normally a lot of time August is our hottest month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like summer going to hit you one more jab, try to get you a nice little cross before it goes down to fall. So I definitely understand this home stretch of summertime. What's up, Mr. Bennett?
What's good, guys? Sorry about that. Had to switch my internet connection over. It's connected automatically to a bad one, so I had to switch over. But good to be with you guys
two
tonight.
providers or something?
Nah, I got two Wi-Fi servers at the house. So
you switched. Okay.
yeah, so one's real good on the other side of the house. It's a fiber line, and I got a Google Wi-Fi on the other end. So the Google is more reliable, but the high speed one, it kind of goes in and out. It's not as consistent. So
Yeah.
But good to be with you guys here tonight on this 1-on-1 Sports Show. Again, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Shout out to the chat, 183307. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good for you to be here. And yeah, we're looking to chop it up certainly in the world of sports tonight. And definitely looking forward to, as always, an insightful conversation. Shout out to our boy Dante, who's man's got to make that paper. We all understand that. Got to take care of business, whatnot. But he'll be listening in, I'm sure. So Dante, if you get a chance, drop some of your comments in the chat. Hopefully, keep this be part of the conversation. So again, good to be with you guys tonight. But again, how are you guys doing, Shawnee? What's going on with you, man?
Man, everything's good. I was just telling Trey, man, he was mentioning about the summer's winding down and how hot it gets up here in Texas at this last month of the summer. But other than that, man, I've been just sitting here enjoying these Olympics. I know we was talking in the pre-show and whatnot about I mentioned the 400 race, the finals, and that's probably one of the most exciting ones I've seen in a while. So
yeah, I got to go back and look. Yeah, I got.
It was a good one.
Yeah, I got to fight sometimes because obviously you get the results of the race and then they have like the prime time coverage of it. So sometimes I try to stay a little bit in the dark, not to have to know too much, so I can enjoy some of it later. My wife, she's real good at that. She don't pay attention to nothing, so she'll be. In a couple hours, she's gonna be screaming and clapping and whatnot for the winners of the events and everything. So it's definitely she's able to keep the blinds on. But me, since I'm in the IT, I got information coming in all the time, and so so it's hard for me to keep all that down. I can tell you again. The Queens show up. What is this? All the Queen. Look at this. All the Queens show up. Alexis from Texas. Take heed to the message. Catalia here. 183307. All the Queens. Where are these guys at? Where the brothers at here, man? But again,
Ladies,
like
feel free
as
to
usual,
join
the
us if
women,
y'all want to.
as usual, the women always show up. So shout out to the ladies of the BMU Network for always supporting us and whatnot. So we appreciate you guys being here tonight. But let's get this thing started. So NFL. All right. So again, we're a couple days away from preseason football, and I'm hearing crickets out of Dallas. And you just dropped an article, Shawnee, just before we got on here. There's a fractured relationship in Philly between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. So apparently this goes all the way back to 2023. Obviously, we know how they ended last season. There was a lot of controversy how it ended and whatnot. But this relationship seems to be tanking fast after just a couple years ago going to a Super Bowl. So what do you guys think, Shawnee? What do you think of what's going on in Philly? I'm thinking now, so Dallas, I don't know what they're doing. Still haven't signed Dak. Still haven't signed your wide receiver. You still got to play your linebacker. And now we got this. Controversy coming out of Philadelphia. So should we just give it to the team from Washington by default that they're going to win the division this year? I'm sure Trey Taylor is going to appreciate that this year, because I haven't heard any negative news out of there. But what's going on in the NFC East? And we're not going to talk about the Giants, even though I live in New York City. But the Giants, write it in 6-11. Book it right now. The over under for the Giants is 6 wins. They're not going anywhere. So let's just keep it on the subject here. But yeah, I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the article, but I know Shawnee. What do you think? What's going on in a team that just went to the Super Bowl and now they're in disarray, man? What's going on? Connor Bryan said Jerry and the two Jerrys in Dallas years ago. Jerry and Jimmy. Jerry and Jimmy.
Well, apparently in Philly, okay, so in 2023 they played a good game versus the Chiefs and barely lost, and that may have been Jalen Hurts' best game as a pro. And he was balling in that Super Bowl, but they lost. So the next season, last year, of course, I guess they're having that Super Bowl withdrawal or whatnot, and I guess it was
Super Bowl hangover.
Yeah, hangover. So I guess naturally, especially for a young head coach, he saw how close they was to winning in 23. He was like, man, if I could just tweak this, and tweak this, and maybe that'll put us over the hump. So then he became more of a micromanager last season. And to the point where, if you remember, Philly started off hot. And then when they finally, they started off, they won their first 10 games. And then when they finally lost their first game and went 10-1, you still a 10-1. But they say after they lost that game, it was like the mood in the back was like they lost the Super Bowl. It was like everybody was down. It was like no inspiration. Okay, you just lost one game at your first game, and you're still 10-1. But it was like the mood was real down. And so, and you saw how the rest of the season went. Also, they just started losing games. And I think they barely beat, I think they beat New York. But they lost like damn near with the last 6 or whatnot. And so basically, and also Jalen Hurts, he felt like, they should have been attacking more the middle of the field a little bit more and whatnot. So he just had some issues, I guess, with the way, because Sirianni was basically the play. That was his offense. Mm-hmm. Now, I forget the GM's name, but he normally head coaches choose their coordinators. The GM stepped in. He the one who brought in Kellen Moore. So now correct. Kellen Moore is the new offensive coordinator for the Eagles. And right now it looks like him and Hurts, I think he's really appreciating how Moore noticed he wanted more motion in the offense. Mm-hmm. That was the same thing that when the Cowboys named him OC, because the year before that they had lack of motion. So they wanted him to do that there. So Moore's about to bring that in with the Eagles. And Hurts really appreciate that. More comes to him directly when he thinks Hurts should have did something, improve on something. So
Mm.
yeah, that was basically the whole, I guess, apparent. I don't know, I won't say fracture, but I think that was the word the article used between
Yes, yes.
Sirianni and Hurts. Is it was just after the Super Bowl, and then Sirianni became more of a micromanager, and then Hurts had some eyebrows raised about Sirianni's play call and how his offensive schemes and how he didn't want to attack the middle as much, lack of movement, all this. So, in comes this GM, makes a move about now that I mention it, I think Cowboys kind of did the same thing with McCarthy. But yeah. And then on the other one that you brought up about the quietness when I'm in Cowboy land.
Crickets, man. I need a cricket sound effect right now. I'd be playing it right now if I could.
It's all about Dak. I mean, you just hear the same thing over and over about Dak and his contract.
There you go. There you go.
That's basically what it is. Because if it's not about Dak or CD's contract, it's really not about anything right now.
Give me it. You think is someone's deal going to get done before the season starts, or what? First of all, whose deal is going to get done first? From your point, since you did the resident Dallas Cowboys fan here, who's going to get their deal done first? And do you think it'll be done before the season starts?
Dak's no, because Dak is basically his agent is basically controlling that, and they already know next off season the money gonna be there, and it's gonna be whether the Cowboys or somebody else. So Dak no. CD, oh man, I go back and forth with this one because you would think CD would get paid, but I think out of three, two of them get paid, one of them get let go, and I think that may be CD, even though he's an incredible piece of the offense. But because of money, Dallas gonna ultimately play Dak in next offseason. Because like I said, he ain't gonna sign no contract this season. So he gonna wait till that price tag is super high. He gonna touch free agency and the Cowboys gonna match him.
Mm-hmm.
They basically gonna pay him, I believe. We're gonna pay you to make receivers better, since you're gonna get paid this type of money. So that's under that umbrella. That's why I believe CD may end up being the cap casualty, because they ultimately gonna pay Dak and they're gonna pay Parsons next year.
Right.
And I don't think they can afford all three of them at the money they gonna. Basically, all three players are basically could potentially be the highest paid at their position by next offseason. So I don't think the Cowboys gonna really. I don't know if they can really afford that. I don't know. Well, I don't know, but I don't think they're gonna pay that.
Right.
So yeah, Dak, yes. Parsons, yes. Unfortunately for CD, no. Now there's some other people who believe CD will be taken care of this year, but normally when a quarterback, especially gets paid the money that Dak, I believe Cowboys will ultimately pay him, they're gonna be like, okay, we paying you to make these receivers better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that type of mentality, CD his contract may be on the chopping block.
Gotcha. Trey, I want to get you in on this conversation, especially with the Eagles. Now, I thought there was a trend that was going on in the NFL for a time when the new philosophy was that you build your offense around the skills and abilities of your quarterback. So again, the issue coming out of Philly, and you're right, Shawnee, talking about there is the word to describe it is fractured. And it had a lot to do over the lack of respect for Sirianni's X's and O's. But I thought the new thing was, again, coaches, you build a team around your quarterback and you take advantage of his strengths. But if that's not happening, so are we regressing back, or a lot of these coaches kind of taking a my way or the highway type of approach now with their QBs now? Or is this just an outlier? But what's just your overall, since you've had some time in football? What's your view of that? You got your franchise quarterback, and you have a young head coach Again, a couple years after, and Alexis, to correct me, after losing a Super Bowl, I'll give you that. After losing a Super Bowl, they might have to do more with your defense than your offense. But what's your general philosophy on that? And when it comes to franchise QB and when the head coach when they're coming at odds, what do you think of that kind of situation?
I mean, with this situation, excuse me, I can go back to, it was a game, I think Shawnee saw the same game when the head coach was getting a little too excited when they were up, and Jalen Hurts had to sort of calm him down.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
"Come on, man, we're in the middle of the game. You showing off." And I think that sort of changed the dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So you think he showed up to coach?
Yeah, and coaches, they want to ensure that they are running the team, and they have, their philosophy sometimes is what it is, what they go run, regardless of what a player may see. It's about, execute the play and it'll work. And, both of them are young. You got a
Right.
surprise out of Jalen Hurts. Nobody expecting him to be who he is in the NFL today. The coach, he's a young coach. So if he doesn't win, it's no big deal. But the fact that they had success, it will be unique to see how it plays out over the next season, as far as like, is Jalen going to be the quarterback of the future, or do we need a new head coach to take us to the next level? So I don't know. It's no games have been played yet, so all kinds of shit can happen. So I don't look at it right now. Talk to me after week 4 when football really starts kicking in.
Right.
We'll see where the Eagles are, because they have the talent. Now it's just about the right plays and everybody performing. So
Absolutely.
I just found all
Absolutely.
this interesting that we talking about a head coach who was just 2 years removed from a Super Bowl appearance, and that just shows you how I don't really think it's a good thing how just the NFL just changes coaches just like.
Well, we all know what the
just
NFL stands for, right?
Well, not for long.
NFL says not for long. Absolutely. So.
But that usually points to the players, not
Yeah.
a coach who been successful.
Right.
That's why I can't get the whole thing about the whole McCarthy thing here in Dallas. The dude won,
Right.
3 straight 12-game seasons, minus that whole COVID thing was the one that he had his worst because it was COVID. That was his
Mhm.
first year, so he couldn't talk to the team like a normal head coach.
Right.
And, it's just, I don't know, sometimes I don't know if teams listen to fan bases, too much, and if they get all rowdy by the head coach, they want to let them go because Sirianni's obviously doing something good.
Right. But I think the money dynamic, right? I mean, we've seen how it just exploded really in the last 3 years. I mean, it's like the standard contract for a QB is $250 million. So you got $250 million versus a coach that might be making $5, $6, $7 million, on an end. I mean, it seems like these days it's the calling of the quarterback. So if the quarterback's not happy, then the coach is who they're going to look at, unless it's a veteran who's got some tenure like Mike Tomlin. I think they're going to give him. They just upped him, so he's going to be the coach through 2027. But outside of that, for a lot of these young guys to come in, I mean, you got to show and improve right away, especially when you have a veteran quarterback or a quarterback that just got paid. So I'll be looking at I know with the Jaguars, I'll be looking at that situation. All right, if that and that guy, that's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but if they don't make the playoffs next year or whatever, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they let that coach go. So I think definitely, when you got this much invested in your players and you're not getting the most out of them, and then you're not, they're gonna put a scapegoat on someone, and it's usually gonna be the head coach. Especially now that you got these young guys. I mean, we were laughing when Detroit got their coach, when the Eagles got Sirianni, and when Detroit got their coach. We were laughing at that. It's like, man, these guys, their opening press conferences were like, we don't. What these guys do? These guys even know about football? And but they've been able to do pretty well, with that. So if that's the prevailing wind, we can get us a young guy somewhere. Look at the Houston. I mean, Houston, they got. They got their coach. He had relatively, relatively inexperienced. I mean, I know he had history with the organization as a player, but so I think if that's the thing that look, we can get we can get a guy in, a young guy. You know, we don't need. And I think the older guys are being phased out. I mean, like Belichick, I don't think he gets back in the league. As certainly not as a head coach, and I think he has too much pride to take a DC or an OC position or anything like that. So,
yeah, because Shanahan, he mentioned that he offered Belichick a job, and Belichick politely declined. So yeah, he wants to be a head coach, not anything less.
absolutely.
Shout
absolutely.
out to I'm just looking at the chat now. Shout out
Mhm.
to Del Monte. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. He
All right,
put on there-
listen. I'm gonna go with the team from Washington as a sleeper. I think that team, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if those guys made a run. I think those guys can make a playoff run. I was kind of kidding earlier if they win the division or not, but I think the team from Washington. I definitely think they're going to be certainly a player this year. I would say the Jets, but again, it's kind of hard to call them a sleeper when you got Aaron Rodgers. I mean, if the prevailing win that he should take them to the playoffs. I mean, that's why they got him. So it wouldn't surprise me unless again he has another catastrophic injury or something like that. But someone who's coming out of nowhere, I think a lot of the teams have already been identified. You know, Houston, you know, they made the big leap
I was
last
about
year.
to mention Houston, but would you call Houston a sleeper?
I wouldn't, no, because not only they made
they
made the playoffs and they won a playoff game. So the target's going to be on their butt for sure.
So if Houston will not be considered a sleeper, I think one of them would be the Colts because Anthony Richardson's coming back.
Right.
He was playing good
Yeah.
before he got hurt.
Right. If I was going to go AFC, I may say the Chargers. Again, you know, with Harbaugh at head coach. I mean, I think with them, I think they were like, you know, they were on they were on the opposite side of a playoff run. So again, I think with Harbaugh, he can get you 2 or 3 extra wins that can, you know, certainly be significant in that division. So I would say in the NFC, I'll pick Washington. In the AFC, I'll pick the Chargers.
Okay.
Trey, who you got? Sleeper.
I picked the Cardinals or the Steelers. Could be those teams just because.
You got faith in
the
Kyler
Cardinals.
Murray?
How are the Steelers a sleeper?
Because I can see them winning 10 to 12 games this year.
But they've been winning 10 and 12 games the past consecutive years, man. So come on, man.
With all the turmoil all season.
Okay.
A smooth transition. I think, I don't know. I just always believe in, you know, the brothers to have a good net. I've never seen it in this position where you have 2 brothers vying for a starting position on the same team. So
I hear you.
But the Cardinals, they got a great receiver coming in. Murray is coming off a major injury, so he has something to prove. So it's going to be real interesting.
That's a good one. We got Del Monte Green Beans in the back. Welcome certainly to the One-on-One Sports Show. How you doing tonight?
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Doing all right, sir. What you got for us? So who's your sleeper this year?
I don't know, but I agree with Ferg with the Steelers. They always lingering. You know, they've been doing that for years. You know, they'll fall off and they'll shoot back up here in a few. It's only a matter of time. Cardinals, I understand about the receiver they got, but I don't know about their defense. Did they get some defense? And
Yeah.
the Chargers, they got to deal with us, Kansas City and shit. So they just now about to start getting their whole woo-wop together, so they ain't gonna really do nothing.
Right.
I think the Raiders may do some things, you know, here and there. They got their little comings and goings. You know, they do a little damage here and there to somebody.
Mhm.
The Broncos, they still lingering. They still having to rebuild.
Right.
But the AFC wins.
Right. Do you think Kansas City is still the prohibitive favorite not only to win the division but also to go back to the Super Bowl? Do you think they due to have a hangover at some point?
I would like them to go to Super Bowl, but you know, things do happen.
Yes.
Injuries and things like that. I am realistic. I'm a realistic fan. But what we've seen is Pat go from throwing downfield, and then last year he's had to like turn his game down. So now he's had to like pick his spots on where he go, use the run game, short game. Now he has all three levels. He can go underneath, he can go mid range, he can go downfield. He gonna have a run game. You got two tight ends that you ain't gonna know. You don't know about this cat Wiley. He's hard. You don't even know about him yet. Real big dude. So
that Monte, did the Chiefs get a whole new receiving core? Because that was the main reason why he had to go. He had to do a horizontal passing game last year because his receivers just couldn't catch. They just let him down so much. But did they replace all three receivers?
They got few of them. They contracts fall off. Then they still got this cat Sky Moore. He got drafted.
Oh yeah.
Then they got they still got Raheem. I mean, what's up, boy? He got to the car wreck.
Rasheed Rice.
Hey, Alexis. How you doing?
I apologize. Yes. I was just saying.
She just jumped in. I was gonna give you the proper introduction. But you were the first one. You were like, drop the link. So you just couldn't wait to get up in here. But anyway, it's good to have you on. Welcome to the One-on-One Sports Show. All right. What you got, Demonte?
Now I just said you came in Bogart.
Totally. She's like, let me in here.
My apologies.
Bogart. That's what Super Bowl champions can do. They can just
no, he said Rasheed's name wrong, and I just wanted to make sure it was stated correctly. That's all.
Yeah, I'm doing too much over here. I'm my bad.
All right, Alexis, you've been chomping at the bit here. So what you got for us tonight? We're on the subject of the NFL. So we got again NFC East. We got we got sleepers for the season. So what you got going on? And again, just in full disclosure, again, just before I got on tonight, I've been getting blasted with all these Brandon Ayuk rumors again. I'm telling you, I don't think he's coming to Pittsburgh. I know he turned down, the Patriots stopped the pursuit of him and whatnot. But the team's still in play. They say it's Pittsburgh, which I don't believe. The Washington Commanders and the Cleveland Browns. So if the Steelers do get back in, it might be as a blocker to keep the Browns out of it or to drive up the price for him.
He declined the Browns too.
But all right, so I have no information at this point whether or not if the Steelers get him or not. It's not in the nature that I will be shocked if the Steelers, because it's going to be $30 million plus and a first rounder. That's what they're going for. So I don't think if Con pull that off, it's definitely a new day in Pittsburgh. But that's kind of where we're at with that. So it's got to be either us or Washington at this point. But outside of that, I got nothing on it. So stop asking me about it. So what you think? Oh, he's coming. I have no idea. And again, even money says no, he's not coming here. But outside of Alexis, go ahead.
Well, we just to recap, we did get a receiving core. We still got McCole Hardman. And he's a good dude. He always come in the clutch. So we got McCole, we got Rasheed Rice. I don't know if they're gonna give him any suspension this year. Like I said, I was talking to Andy earlier. We ain't heard nothing come down yet. So it's Rasheed Rice, there's Hollywood Brown. We still got and our new boy Worthy. He been doing what he do. Our foreign player. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's not a receiver, but our foreign player, we're really excited to see what he's going to do. That boy fast. We don't know what he's going to do with this pass because rugby is different. But you know what I'm saying? He might be on special teams because Sky Moore got to sit his ass down somewhere. I don't know what Sky is doing. Tony, he do what he do. He, Tony is like that kid that's always messing up, but he do good. So we like, God damn, dude, like, damn, sit your ass down, but okay, come back. But sit your ass down, but okay, come back. That's how we do with him. So, and just a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to a three-peat. My quarterback is just the man. I just wanted to get up here because I don't know what the hell what happened with this top NFL list. How the hell Patrick Mahomes get number 4, and respect to Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill was a Chief for over 10 years. So like, I'm not giving the Dolphins too much because he still have lingering of Chief in him. So respectfully, he got number 1. Kudos. But how the hell you got Lamar, no action Jackson as number 2?
I don't get that.
Watch your
And
mouth.
you got my boy number 4. How that happens? I don't like. I'm really thinking.
Well, it's like yeah, but it's like MJ. Did MJ win the MVP every year? No, I mean they can't do that. So
But you got to remember the players voted this, man. They didn't.
yeah. So I mean, so it's a little. I'm sure there's a little player hate. I'm sure that's going on.
That's what it was.
That was in last November. That's when they was in the middle of the season.
No, but they were still hating. They were still hating.
I have a question for the Chiefs fans. Since
I'm a Chiefs fan, but I'm realistic. I've been watching them since Deron Cherry and Barry Word and Christian.
Oh man, Deron Cherry from Rutgers University. Shout out to Cherry.
So the fact that the Chiefs have won 2 Super Bowls in a row, right? And I've seen some celebration parties with the Chiefs now, and everybody seems to be throwing back and them Bud Lights or Miller Lights, whatever they drinking. Do y'all see them having one of those years like most teams that go to the Super Bowl, they come back and they just still basking in the Super Bowl win? Or do y'all think they'll still be one of the top teams in the ALC?
I think that I don't think Andy Reid played that game because they'll say that in the news that when they have like little news press conferences here, you know what I'm saying, they'll talk about that specific subject right there.
Okay.
Yeah, they pretty thorough on it because it's like, yo, Coach Reid, man, I want to meet that dude, man, because the way he just came here, he just turned the whole shit around right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right away when he first came here, when they first got here, man.
For what I remember reading,
if
Philly.
you want to talk to Andy, I'll introduce you. I got to call him later. I'll see if I can do what I can do. You know what I'm saying? I'll see.
All right.
Well, what I remember from
you got to cook him
Philly,
something to eat though. You know, Coach Reid, he wants something to eat.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's a player coach, but he runs a strict ship. So he'll let you, have your personality, but you if you go out of line. Cause I just remember when he was in Philly and Vic came, up there after he done did his old dog thing and all that, and he was just straight up with Vic. You do this, and this right here, and you'll play. And even Donovan McNabb was strict on Vic. So Reid, he's a player coach, but you know who the head coach is. Tomlin is the same way. You know who's the head coach of it. You ain't gonna see no Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni type of shit like that. He's the head coach.
Coach
you the
Reid.
player. That's it.
Yo, Coach Reid and the offensive designs, man, that shit is crazy, bro. Like, it's crazy how you come up with that offense.
That's
man.
Nothing special.
And he does it like
wait.
He'll move it to where what the talent is of the team for that year. You can tell.
Listen,
but hold on. Wait, Trey, let me put in something real quick because we giving Andy Reid his props and understand. I like Reid. Like I said, I was just talking to him yesterday. I like Reid, but we just won back-to-back Super Bowls, and we gotta give some flowers. We gotta give some flowers to Spags because in Spags we trust. Okay, Spags came in there. Spags been doing his thing. So yes,
hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're seeing the birthing here. So between Alexis from Texas, even though she's a KC fan, Del Monte Green Beans, you guys need to hook up with Reckless Ray De Niro, and you guys need to have a new podcast on the BMD Network for KC Nation. It's already there. You guys, the energy's already there between you three. Y'all be the treacherous trio from Kansas City, man. So.
But Ray, that's my bro. Me and Ray already clicked. When I saw that Casey on the back of his chair, I was like, "Oh, that's family right there." Like,
absolutely. So y'all need to work. Y'all need to work that out. Get your contact information, and y'all need to start a channel.
He's trying to have a setup so that when we lose, they can have something to say.
That's my first time saying. That's my first time saying it.
We actual Chiefs fans. It ain't no. We know how to take L's because it was years that we took them. So we know how to take L's.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, but hold on, Mr. Bennett, let me put something out there real quick because you say this, okay?
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna tell you how loyal of a Chief fan I am. My dad is from Kansas City, and he met my mom here in Texas through the Army. He was Army.
Gotcha.
So, but understand that before the Chiefs went to Kansas City, they were the Dallas Texans.
That's correct. The AFL. Yes, that's correct.
I was born in Texas, and my mom married my dad, and we moved to Kansas City. So I am a thoroughbred Chief fan through and through. I just want you to know that it ain't no.
It ain't no winning team.
I remember.
But if you said Alexis from KC, that would also be a true statement, right?
Yeah,
it'd be like Sister Kamala, you're black and Indian, right? You can say I'm from Texas. And
Why?
Nah, but my grandfather from Kansas City, he gave me Alexis from Texas. He's the one who gave me that name.
Okay. So, shout out to grandfather.
Also homage to grandfather, but at
shout out to granddad. That's right.
I'm
okay.
KC as far as baseball and football. Everything else is Texas.
I hear you.
I'm not
I heard that.
fan. I'm a KC fan.
I heard
all right, so hang on. College team. So what you Longhorns or Aggies? Who you at?
No, I don't want to say UK. My bad. I'm University of Kansas.
Kansas. Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Jayhawks.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna move this on again. So again, thank you guys. You guys are certainly free to stay on the back. We're gonna keep the show. We're gonna keep the show moving to our next block. But you guys are certainly can feel free to stay in the back or come on back on the convo. But we're gonna move to the Olympics. All right. So we're in the last week of the Olympic Games, and clearly the U.S. has from last week they clearly started to dominate. They have the total medal count is at 94, and they also lead in all medal categories. So they have the most golds, the most silvers, and the most bronze medals. So I mean, clearly, if there was going to be an eyesore, you don't have the Russians. The Russian team this year, obviously, they're with everything that's going on over there, plus the drug ban from the 2020 that's going on there. So obviously, they're not there. But certainly they're putting their stamp on this Olympic Games, the track and field events. They've been very dominant. I think saw last night that they won the 1,500 meter race. I think only one of 4 Americans who've ever won that race, and those guys were like going back to the 1920s or something like that. So you talk about like 100 years before the last time they won one. So they've certainly been dominant there. But again, some upsets here again. So we have a girl Richardson was upset by Ann Price in the 100 meters. So again, Sha'Carri came in.
Price, Julian Alfred.
Yeah.
Julian Alfred. Correct. So what do you think about that, Shawnee? As far as that that race and yeah.
Before that race, there was some controversy because that was. Remember Ann Price? Shelly Ann Price. So she stepped out. She backed out the semifinals because her and Richardson before they were not able to warm up. Mm-hmm. Apparently, because there was some stuff, about the Olympic Village that it's basically not up to par. So many athletes
leaving them outside the gate. They couldn't get in on time.
Yeah, so they wouldn't because they did not take the bus that comes from Olympic Village to the arena. They were not allowed to go in the practice area. They took another bus because they stayed at a hotel or something, and many athletes did because there was people not really happy with the Olympic Village situation right now. So because of that, them two was not able to warm up. So Fraser Price, she just backed out. I don't know if it directly because of that or she suffered something that because Richardson still ultimately she wanted to go race in the semifinal.
Somebody messed up their hamstring.
I think that was okay. I think that was Fraser Price. Then it was something extra that officially took her, removed her from the race. So Richardson, she did the semi. She did her thing in the semi. But then when the finals came, and some people was using the whole, you didn't get a chance to warm up as the reason why she lost. I'm like,
Plus, it was
wow.
wet, right? I mean, it was wet. It was rainy.
Nah,
It wasn't. That's the first time I've seen an Olympic
Yes.
final in those kind of conditions.
It's been raining almost the whole damn Olympics.
Right,
It's
but
just-
you
it
never
was
saw.
really-
But I
yeah.
never saw, like I said, a final. Like you talk about the glamour
Yeah.
events. It's the 100, it's the 200, it's the 4x1 and the 4s. Right. I've never seen the Olympic Games where they're literally running it essentially in the rain. I mean, you can see the water on the track.
Mhm.
And so, so again, I don't, want to use that necessarily as an excuse or say, but could they have waited for another window in order to have the race or what have you? But it just seemed like something might have been a little bit off in terms of, if this was under normal conditions, we might have seen a different outcome. And what was strange about it, this is the first race in a long time. There were no Jamaican women in the finals,
Yeah.
which was rare. So all Sharika Jackson was out, all the,
Injuries.
yeah. So this was again, I don't know if we necessarily got necessarily the best outcome.
Well, the thing about with Richardson, her start has always been her weak point. Her strength is she got real good top speed.
Same with
And
Noah
that's what
Lyles,
she-
yeah.
That's basically how she wins a lot of her races. Meanwhile, I forgot somebody made a quote because I was listening to Nightcap and they had Justin Gatlin on there, and he mentioned somebody said, 9-7 can't beat 9-7. So basically, okay, Richardson, you normally your top end speed is normally faster than the other women you compete against.
Mhm.
Alfred though, she has an excellent start and an excellent top speed. So because you're slower out the block, I think she was potentially last out the block compared to her starting is just not her strength at all.
Right.
Alfred was already gone.
Yeah.
And she won that race, fairly convincingly. So I mean, and woman I seen the video, of her and this is a big thing about Alfred. This is St. Lucia's first ever medal
Correct.
in the Olympics. And you see the video of how her people was so excited for. I mean, so that was nice to see. She probably ain't gonna pay for the next year. She ain't gonna have to pay for anything. If she wanted to next year, if she wanted to run for president next year, she could.
Hey, does the women's time in the 40, like say like brothers in the 40, and you going for the NFL draft and stuff, so and they measure your 40 time. Is it the same for the women as it is for the men? Like, are they times the same in the 40? Like, is there any ladies like 4.21 and stuff like that?
That's a
Yeah.
good question. I don't think I've had something measured before. I mean, obviously that would be faster than most. I mean, I would certainly think that some could probably run sub 5, but 4.2 in the 40, that would be interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that in a competition before.
Yeah.
I know they have that 60-meter dash in the indoor events, but I've never seen a 40 time for the women. At least not something that's been measured.
Yeah, okay. They don't do that for like an NBA draft for the
No,
WNBA.
there's no like sprint times for women.
I meant combine. That's what I meant the term.
Yeah.
Combine.
On the combine, yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
agility drills and jumping vertical and
Mhm.
stuff like that. It's nothing that's far as time. There's like speed drills and you can only measure the speed of the court, really. 94
Yeah.
feet. But
Right. I know also, yeah.
how
I also know there was a bit of an upset in the Olympics. The men's 3-on-3 basketball, which was a new event this year. I know Trey Ferg, he pointed out to us that 2 events that were brought up for the Olympics this year, 3 of them, but I know one of them certainly was certainly the breakdancing. The other one was the 3-on-3, and I always forget the last one that you were
the
mentioning.
last one that I saw the other day, it was fucking
breakdance.
wait a minute, it was what is it? The 2 jump rope. What is that? It was
Oh, the
dutch.
double dutch?
Double dutch.
Yes. So I mean,
Ain't no sisters in it. Ain't no sisters
Not at all.
right.
Damn.
But the 3-on-3 was kind of surprised. 'Cause I know.
And shit in the first place. What the fuck?
Right. But I know Ice Cube, he had mentioned he had actually wanted to make a proposal that obviously he has the success of his men's his Big 3 league, so he wanted to arrange an event, and he still might. But I think it would have been a lot better, certainly with the U.S. players, but to basically get an all-star team from his 3-on-3 and play the Olympic gold winner and stage a venue for that. I think that would certainly be I think it still could be certainly a worthwhile event. But Trey, what was your thoughts on the, I guess, call it an upset, if you will, of the men's 3-on-3 basketball? What did you see in that loss? And it was pretty substantial. Also, it wasn't just wasn't down to the wire. It was a pretty heavy loss as well. So, what do you think happened there?
Be quiet, I wouldn't call it an upset. If you say America's has better talent, you say that. But as far as an upset, nah, because I don't know. Outside of the big three, you never really saw 3-on-3 basketball unless you was in the park or something. I don't think guys really train for like these other countries. These guys, shit, that's all they got is 3-on-3. So I think it's a little different, So, I didn't.
Yeah, their game is different.
So.
Right. So I'm sure that just like with the international and the regular game, there's probably some international rules that players they probably have to get used to over a while and dedicate some time to it to get better with it over time. So, but we also have the I guess the semifinals for the men's basketball. So we have U.S. is playing Serbia again in one semifinal, and France is playing Germany. And I gotta tell you guys, I saw the France-Canada game, and France worries me. There's two things for the U.S. Now, obviously, they beat Serbia before the Olympics. I guess there was sort of like a World Games where they dominated Serbia ahead of the Olympics. They beat them fairly comfortably earlier in the Olympic Games, and now they're playing for a third time. So again, is 3 going to be the charmer, or are the U.S. men staged for an upset? And then I saw France again beat Canada. And those guys are big. I mean, those guys have got some serious length that can bother any team. So France, I think, is a legit contender as well. So what do you guys think about that? Start with you, Shawnee, regarding the men's basketball. Should the Team USA be worried about a possible upset by, again, familiarity from Serbia or the length of France?
Hold on, dog. I was trying to wait for you to get done. But with the double dutch part, you can go get about 3-4 sisters. They work at the dollar store. And we could have got gold and shit on the double dutch event.
That is true. Well, we're gonna talk about something like that in the next segment. But go ahead, Sean.
No, I don't think the U.S. team has to really worry, but I think they got to have a healthy amount of respect for the competition. But I don't think they really have to worry, especially if they play that game. But shout out to Steve Kerr for being a head coach. He's in a situation where he has all these, potential Hall of Famers and All-Stars on his roster, and he has to make the decision of who's going to play. He's basing on matchups, and when he made the decision not to play Joel Embiid Embiid one game, Tatum the game before, the 1-point win in an exhibition game versus South Sudan. Everybody has something to say. Everybody's something to say. Even though exhibition, he's trying to, they just started playing with each other just a week or two before. So he's trying to develop figure out matchups and all that. And then once the actual pool play started, he's putting, matchups based on rosters based on the matchups. And pretty much because he's doing that, he's actually coaching his team as far as doing what his coach is supposed to do. The team is going on and win convincingly every pool game so far. So it just, goes to show that head coaches know their team better than everybody on the outside. Everybody on the outside think that he should be doing this, he should be doing that.
Yeah. Well, he took a lot of heat after that first game.
And,
sure.
And apparently the France head coach is doing the same thing. Because I think in the game versus Canada, Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, he sat him.
He sat him. And he was, people ask him, why did you sit him down? He's like, dude, I'm playing for the matchup. So, head coaches actually being head coaches. And, and they the one who know their roster better than everybody. They the one who have to figure it out. There's other, especially with USA, there's other very good head coaches on the staff. So they figure out the game plan, they execute the game plan. And so far it's been working, and it's been working very well. So whatever roster he's going to put out there on the court, knowing that it's the players, they know this because of the talent on the squad. You know you ain't gonna be playing no 30 minutes every game. Your team is just too deep. So we just gonna play like Serbia. They're big, and I think they gonna do like I think you may see Joel Embiid more because he can go because that's why Embiid didn't play against South Sudan because South Sudan is a track team. They shoot a lot of 3-pointers.
Right.
So it's just
but
based
Embiid
on
didn't
the
play much
matchup.
against the early matchup with Serbia either. So he had sat early.
He may
again.
don't play good against what's his name, Joker.
Right. So you think again they're going. So you think, but he'll get significant minutes this time around?
He may not. He may not. It may be another Bam and AD combo, which has been working very good. So, he's gonna do what he's do. Embiid may, if they go on and play a team like France, I think Embiid will be able to play against in them. But because Rudy is not an offensive threat, but this Serbia, I don't think he'll start, but yeah, I think against Serbia, I think you may see a heavy Bam and AD combo.
But you don't see it. But you don't see a lull. You don't see overconfidence playing them for a third time.
I think they have a healthy respect because there's a lot of vets on this squad. So I don't think they're gonna just. I think if you take away Steph, LeBron, them, and it was just like Anthony Edwards, them, maybe that will be a narrative because they're young but KD, LeBron, they already play, they played in multiple Olympics in the past, so it's just veteran leadership, leading this. So they have a good, steady post, and they all love to compete. So if the game gets any closer, it just wakes them up, right? And then they'll just start pulling away. So I think they'll be fine.
Gotcha. Trey, what do you think? Any of these remaining teams a threat to Team USA on the men's side?
No, I don't really see any of the teams being a threat. I just think that Steve Kerr, he likes small ball. He's in love with the small ball game. I think at some point you're going to see AD, Embiid, and what's the other guy?
Who, Bam or
Bam? I think you're gonna see all three of them on the court with LeBron, maybe Steph, maybe KD, because LeBron can play the point. So it's just gonna come down to who's hot. I think Anthony Edwards still has, a good game to play. A good 20, 25 point game to play. So it's gonna be interesting, man. These next two games. If they beat Serbia, I think they ain't gonna have no problem for the gold medal. It's gonna be gold all the way, about 15 points or more.
All right. Well, me, I'm gonna be the I do this just like I do with my Celtics. I know Trey Taylor hates me for this, but yes, I'm actually a little bit concerned. Like I said, I saw France. They just got length on. They got Wemby. You can have Wemby and Gobert in the game at the same time. And Wemby, he only had 4 points in that game, but you saw it's like when he's in there, 3 or 4 players collapse on him because he's just such a distraction in the game and trying to drive to the hole. He's a problem. So so I think that, and we still haven't seen Steph really show up yet. I mean, everyone's waiting for Steph to get off. He hasn't gotten off yet. So again, but Kerr still goes to him in the game. So again, an off shooting night, can certainly make a difference here. So I would be, I think this will be one of the more challenging finals runs. Again, Serbia, it's difficult to beat any team 3 times in a row. And so I'm going to be certainly watching, see if Serbia makes some adjustments, and see if, especially if Team USA comes out cold, that can be an issue. But watch out for France. I think they're a very dangerous team. And I was very impressed with them, how Canada can do nothing inside with those guys. But we'll see if they can do something then. Last point, I guess, on the Olympics before I go into my main topic for tonight. Certainly a tribute, shout out to Simone Biles. Well, what can you say about her? Won the team gold, won the all around. I think she got a silver. I think in the floor exercise. So I mean, she's been incredible. I mean, certainly the greatest in terms of GOATs. Certainly I think she's certainly staking her claim as the GOAT of the gymnastics. But we've seen GOATs in other categories. We talk about Serena Williams in tennis, being to go to tennis and whatnot. So I mean, how would you guys just sort of encapsulate her career? And then she's 26, 27 years old, so she's considered an old lady. In this sport, but she certainly brought not only her skills and abilities, but I think she's also changed the face of the sport in terms of the advertising, in terms of the marketing, in terms of the glam of the sport. I think she's had such a positive image on the sport overall. I think she's transformed it in a lot of ways. I think certainly a lot of people would certainly model. It used to be for so long the Chinese women or someone, some other group would dominate, but you would never hear from them again. But I think she has certainly brought, just like Serena did with tennis, I think certainly Simone has really done so much for women's gymnastics, certainly not only in this country, but in the world in terms of how do you see it. So what do you guys think of that in terms of the, her impact on tennis and on women's sports just overall?
I think obviously her impact on in gymnastics is just, especially you can see it on this team, because she's like, you can tell she's the big sister of all the latest. Cause I think the youngest one on the team is 16.
Yeah.
And when her and Jordan Childs was up on the podium with the Brazilian gymnast, her backstory, she went through like 3 knee surgeries or whatnot. So the dude would come out and win gold. So they were just giving props to her. And you can see, well, of course from Biles, but also from Childs, just how much they believe in like women empowerment and whatnot. And I believe her mentality, obviously, I don't know if I talked about it last show or not, but when her former Olympic teammate, Michaela Skinner,
You talked about it last week.
yeah, when she said what she said, the USA team, they didn't say anything until they won that gold.
Right.
And then not only did Biles mention something, then you saw her teammates start getting on. But apparently, Miss Skinner now, she released another video asking now for Biles to basically call off these people, because apparently she's been getting all these social media negative things about her. I think she even said death threats, which no, we definitely don't condone. But she got a video, she was getting these little tears, and I'm like, you can't. I mean, you caused all this. You unprovokedly, critiqued and threw stones at the USA team. It wasn't like you called them like lazy. You were throwing rocks on them, and then they backed it up and proved you wrong, and all of a sudden now you're getting this return smoke on it, and now you boo-hooing on social media. Should have never pressed send in the first place. So she wants Simone Biles to go and call off the people. I don't know if Biles see that or not. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, Biles, her impact into the sport. Is she up there with Serena?
Or just take it even out of the female realm. I mean, in terms of someone who's had a string of dominance in a sport. So again, like for example, like Michael Phelps in swimming or what have you. I mean, just in terms of her overall impact, certainly on the popularity of gymnastics, the marketing of gymnastics, just overall, just in terms of overall impact compared to some of the other athletes. Serena's the one that first came to mind, but
her overall for sure, because she got opposing countries wanting the Olympic Committee to change the rules in the gymnastics because she win too much. So that's a definite. I mean, once you get people complain that you too great at what you do, I mean, that's pretty much you stamped.
Yeah, but she has a signature move that no other gymnast even tries. That's the GOAT right there. They ain't even trying to do the shit she do. They're like, okay, she wins it. I just think that just shows the humbleness of her. You know what I'm saying? Despite her success and seeing what someone else has gone through. In America, we take shit for granted. These other people shit, that's some of the only shit they have is to look forward to is the Olympics.
Mm.
And to be able to show that humbleness and just bow to the other young lady. And there were some low level thinking people just giving her some pushback because she bowed to that young lady for winning, who's overcame a hell of adversity.
Marlon
You know what I'm
Humphrey,
saying? So-
DB for the Ravens, he had some pushback about
Yeah, that was just dumb on his part, you know what I'm saying? So, but shit,
Oh,
salute to all of
disgusting.
them, shit. Simone Biles can retire as the GOAT, have a couple of babies, put them in the Olympics too, and all the hyenas will be jealous.
Yeah,
because-
the genetics is going to be there for sure.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah, she
husband's
have
a
babies
football
with her
player
husband.
too, so hey, but certainly shout out to her too, who's just been again just a model, and for us, and just the image that she said. So really appreciate her. But this last block I want to go into, certainly this was inspired, certainly not only by the Olympic Games, but also I had a conversation with my brother, Grooming and Reviews, on our gray area show that Sundays at 9:30 right here on the BMU network. We talked about the Olympics in general, but we naturally we got into this area, and I just have a very general question. And by the way, certainly for those in the chat, certainly the line is open. So if you want to drop on click on the link and join the conversation, certainly you're more than welcome in the time that we have left. But in the conversation we were having the other night, the question came up. If you look at the Olympics, so again, we talked about breakdancing, and just to kind of highlight some of the sports here, you have archery, you have badminton, you have the equestrian, you have golf. We talked about, I know, like David, he was talking about the controversy with the judo earlier. You have shooting, you have sailing, you have surfing, and trampoline. And so the question that I raised was, what is a sport? What is a sport? Now, I know for years I had a very strict criteria that I used for defining what a sport is. And so the first criteria was, one, it must involve incredible athletic ability, right? So again, either speed, strength, combination of the two. It's got to be something where you have to use some physical effort in order to do it. The second thing is that I think there needs to be an official way to score it that's objective. So I typically never looked at judged contests as a sport, because if you're saying that the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and how many times have we seen, certainly in the Olympics and in other sports, where the decision comes out and everybody's shaking their head saying, man, what happened here? I mean, the person, by what criteria are you measuring whether or not someone wins or loses or not? And so this brings up a whole lot of different contests. I mean, I think there's athletic endeavors. There's also skill endeavors. But I think if something is supposed to be a sport, I think you need to have an objective way of determining a winner and a loser. And so for example, I never thought golf was a sport. I just haven't. I mean, certainly outside of that first swing at the tee, you're walking the course, you're putting most of the time, but doing chips or whatever doesn't, in my view, it's never required that it had a lot of athletic ability to it. Bodybuilding, which I love. I've grown up on bodybuilding, but it's a glorified beauty contest, because again, you're going to have some judges saying, well, I like this body over that one. Certainly, do they work out hard, and do they do the sacrifices what they need in order to get ready for the contest? Yes, they do. But to me, it's more of a beauty contest more than a sport. But again, a sport like football, baseball, basketball, where again, you must wrestling, weightlifting, even though again, bodybuilders, even though they lift weights, they're not judged on how much they can lift in the gym. They're judged in terms of their appearance on stage. So with some of these events that I talked about, like I said, shooting, skeet shooting, or any kind of target shooting or archery, I mean, you might as well, darts is darts a sport? So I just wanted to, we talked about it on Sunday night. I wanted to certainly expand that discussion here. I know Marcus Antonio, he was giving me shade on Sunday when we're talking about the subject, especially when it came to shooting. But I wanted to sort of bring it into the space also and get your views. And anyone certainly in the chat, certainly feel free to comment in terms. I know Lou Medic said sports involve skill, physical exertion, competition, and somehow emulates or imitates one aspect of a battle. Interesting. But I think that's some good criteria. But I would also say, again, objective scoring. Like in basketball, it doesn't matter how you score the basket. You can hit a three-pointer, you can dunk it, you can have the funkiest, ugliest shot in the world. As long as the ball goes in, it counts. But in this Olympics, you've had skateboarding. You got BMX and X Games and all these different types of events where people are judged by, not only the tricks that you use, but again, the style points and all that other kind of stuff. So that's kind of my criteria. Like I said, it's very strict. But like I said, golf is always something that's bothered me in terms of, that being a sport. Yes, I think it's good if you work out. Anything that you do, working out will help you do it better. Even if you're doing a desk job, sitting down all day, being in physical shape, I think is good for you. But is it a sport though? Is my question. So yes, breakdancing was approved for the Olympics, but I don't think breakdancing is a sport. It's more like a dance, just like rhythm gymnastics and water dancing and ice dancing and all these other endeavors. I don't know, gentlemen. So why don't you guys take a stab at it? Shawnee, you want to take a stab at it? What meets your criteria for sport? Also another one, racing, like any auto racing, IndyCar, NASCAR, horse racing, any of those sports. Those endeavors. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm pretty much agreeing with Lou Medic when he mentioned the skill, physical exertion, and competition. As far as all these different events in the Olympics, their sport is basically, because I see what you're saying, like especially when it comes to objective scoring method and whatnot. With the Olympics, their whole thing is it just focuses around competition, breakdancing, multiple countries competing against each other, so they'll qualify that. So sometimes sports you can't put again, I use Lou's comment as example. So he lists three things: skill, physical exertion, and competition. Sometimes you can't bundle all three. Sometimes in Olympics with breakdancing, you mentioned race car driving, that may just be competing. Even though you do train for, and you mentioned also golf, I think you do have to train for whatever sport that you're playing. So golfers tend to have, because it was well known, Tiger Woods used to do Navy SEAL workouts to become the golfer he
well, not that it became, mind you, he started that later, right? When he came, he wasn't doing all that crazy Navy SEAL stuff until he was like 10, 12 years well into his career. So,
but he was in good shape compared to
that was an outlier. Because remember those guys, like, who was those guys? The real, some of those guys were real heavy.
And whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, they totally didn't fit the description of an athlete, right? My man would be eating a cheeseburger before the contest or some donuts or something, or he would, take a few drinks or whatever and get out there, whatnot, with his belly. And keep in mind, just overall, in a lot of sports, the idea of working out was discouraged. The only thing they used to say, like basketball, Trey would know this, you were discouraged from lifting weights in basketball for a long time because they thought you get too muscle bound, it would throw off your shot, and all that. The only sports where people worked out was like weightlifting, football, and those things. Other than that, you just worked on your skills. So I think certainly Tiger, I think brought a new element to it as far as his training and conditioning. He definitely took it seriously, but I don't. I think he's an outlier. I think overall to what a lot of these guys. You go back to those days with Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer and whatnot. I mean, none of those guys had athletic physiques or anything like that. To anything that and now it's like even the equipment is such Where, I mean, back in the day, they played with these wood golf clubs. Now they got these graphite, you just blowing the ball and you hit it 400 yards. I mean, so the equipment is doing like half the work in terms of, you driving the ball or whatever. So it's more like a skill, more so than like like he was saying earlier, like a
skill, and you competing. Like I say, you can't. Some sports like golf, you can't use the whole bundle. Even though golf can be physical exertion in some type of way, especially when you walk in all 18 holes, that is a challenge. But some sports may not have the physical, exertion. You see, race car driving, of course, they're not physically moving as far as on their own feet, but a lot of them are in very good shape. I've seen some of them; they are in very good shape because it's the condition they have to be when they're in that car.
Right.
And it's a different thing. It's totally unique.
But my only thing now that if you watch modern race car driving today,
Mhm.
it's like they're playing a video game. If you watch, like, especially the Indy 500,
Oh yeah,
like, all the controls are in the steering wheel. It's like you pressing buttons. It's like you playing Xbox or whatever with
some of them train like that. Some of them, there has been dudes, especially on the F1 side, there has been dudes. What's up, Hank? That they train with a video game or a simulator,
right.
and then take that to a real racetrack. So I just think sport. I want to say, what's his name? Who said that? Stephen A. Smith talking about it's fluid. It's fluid.
It's fluid. It's fluid.
Yeah, the definition of it can be fluid because yes, it normally has skill, physical exertion, and competitiveness. But I think every sport may not rely on one of those three aspects. And I think the main thing of every sport out there, the main ingredient is the competitiveness. And with the Olympics, the reason why they have these, I don't want to say off the wall, but unique things that you never thought that can be an actual sport in the Olympics, breakdancing and stuff like that, they could still revolve it around competing. And when you do that, and people willing from different countries willing to compete against each other to determine a winner, they'll figure out a score. They'll figure out a scoring thing because many of those, maybe doing a headstand is 4 points or something like that. I don't know because breakdancing is Friday, so we're gonna get to see. We're gonna get to see how they gonna judge this thing, how they gonna score this thing. I don't know. Maybe it's similar to a diving. Basically.
Same. I would put that in a similar category. Again, you're doing the moves like they score points, but again, the difference between winning and losing, the difference between a gold and a bronze or a gold and not getting on the podium, you're talking about fractions of a point. And so because one judge may say, well, I just like that person's style better or their suit or whatever. That's why you see a lot of these sports, they put so much into the presentation, the suit, the makeup, the all these other things that really shouldn't have anything to do with the can you do in skating, for example, figure skating. It's like, it doesn't matter. Can you do the triple Askell or can you not? So
you don't like the aspect of having anything subjective when it comes
correct.
to sport.
Now Dante raised the point about boxing. Yes, boxing is judged, but where I take boxing or MMA or any kind of combat sports out of it, with the exception of point karate, and again, we talked about it on Friday, boxing has a definitive way of having a winner. If I knock out my opponent, or if the ref comes in and stops the fight or whatever, I can certainly, there's still a way. Now, if you go all the way back, in fact, boxing started in the ancient Olympic Games, actually, back in the 600 BC or whatever. It actually started all the way back then. Back then, the only way to win in boxing was you either knock your guy out or the guy quits. So it was truly like as real as it got in terms of determining a winner. Boxing still has that element to it. I think they've certainly added scoring to it. But again, how many times have we seen over the years, no way that guy should have won the fight? Well, because he's in his home country and they gave him that home cooking. And then you see this corruption and then everybody cries about it. And then there's an investigation and the judge was on the take or the judges were on the take or the referee was on the take or what have you. So that I think hurts boxing when those kind of bad decisions come up, or a fight is you dominate. The guy won 12 out of 12 rounds, but you know how they do. They say it's a split decision. We got to make the guy who got clearly beat 10 out of 12 rounds, we got to let him be. So he'll do like a 115, 113. I'm like, huh? Like, where'd you get that from? So I think that kind of thing hurts boxing, but boxing still, that's why I always said, if you have an opportunity to knock your opponent out, don't dance around or whatever. If you got a guy hurt, take him out of there. Because you just don't know what these judges or what these people are going to, what they're going to do. And so, but I think boxing still has that ace in the hole. A KO or stoppage or a guy quits. You can still have that and still determine a winner. But it doesn't matter in boxing how you throw the punches, whether you do the shoe shine, whether you get on a jab or look, but some rounds are judged that way. Those rounds where there's not a lot of action going on, but the guy does something cute. He does a bolo punch. He does the Ali shuffle with his feet or whatever, just try to get some style points in. And if it's a boring round, no one's throwing much. Who you going to give the round to? Well, I think I'll give it to the guy who looked better or more. But I think that aspect of it makes it still I still keep it in the sports category. Same with MMA as well. I mean, you can still knock your guy out in MMA. You can tap him out. You can submit him. Those are still things that are definitive. But when it comes to the scorecard, sometimes we hold our breath. And, when it happens, we talk about it. It's like, oh, boxing's dead. Oh, this is going to end boxing or whatever. And so I do worry about that. But Trey, certainly like to get your point on this again for the chat. Again, the phone line, the line is open. So if you want to click on the link and join this latter part of the discussion to talk about what do you think is sports. Do you agree with my point of view or anyone else's point of view regarding what is a sport? Is chess a sport? I don't know. I'm not willing, even yes, it's competition, but I'm not going to put in chess, even though you could be there 4 or 5 hours and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I want to call chess a sport. I just can't go there. It's a competition, absolutely. It's mental fatiguing, absolutely. I can't put it there. I just if they start doing Olympics for sport, you get a gold medal in chess.
Well, I think that's why they call it Olympic Games. Now it could be called it's a game.
And that's the thing too. There's games like Monopoly. Look, that's why I don't play a lot of Monopoly because I cheat. You guys see how I am, right? I'm typically well balanced here. I lose all calmness in I get vicious in Monopoly, man. I want to bankroll. I want to take all your money. So I just get to different mode. But I never thought Monopoly was a sport. But Trey, get in here on this. What you got on this?
I mean, I guess it's between the rock and the hard place. I look at it as a sport is something that, as long as I can compete against another without, intentionally committing any bodily harm or deletions, but accumulating points also, because pretty much in most sports you accumulate some kind of some type of point system, and we compete in a non-violent level. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Outside of my big two, basketball and football, and then everything else is just for pussycats anyway.
So what about, all right, so combat sports then, like boxing, MMA, wrestling, judo. I mean, those contests, guys do get hurt, and some guys go in there like Mike Tyson, and he's like, look, I throw punches with bad intentions. Yeah. I want to hurt you. I want to, hit you that liver shot and make you quit. Yeah. So
if you want to win, then you're going to have to, at least go to some extent of violence to win, especially, hand-to-hand combat sports. But I don't know, man. I think sports are necessary. But as far as like what is categorized as a sport, I don't know. Man, you can put marbles in there, man. Marbles could be a sport, man. I'm competing, accumulating points.
Right.
I don't know, man. It's crazy to see that break dancing is placed in a arena with sports.
Right. And Kateri, she actually puts it here, for break dancing, the judges score battles on six criteria: creativity, personality,
Come on.
technique, variety, performativity, and musicality.
So
I mean,
come on, man. You gonna hear some Planet
Stand
Rock?
handstand for 4
Shit,
seconds.
if it ain't Planet Rock, there ain't no fucking musicality. You know, I mean, personality. What?
Yeah. So it could be your costume. It could be if you come out with I don't know if they're doing individual or they're doing crew events. I don't know exactly how they're going to break this down, if it's individual or crew stuff. But again, it could be your costume. It could be your gear. It could be your sneakers or whatever you got on. Could make a difference in one judge's eye to say, "Oh, I like that person's presentation better. I love that combination of colors on them or whatever." Or like you said, somebody may come out to Planet Rock. Somebody may come out to some techno, new agey type of stuff or whatever. You don't know. If you're an OG like us, you come out to Planet Rock, I'd be like, all right, yeah, that's my generation, right? But Shawnee, he might be a little more DMX, or I don't know. Well, you look like a '90s, 2000s head to me. So,
Hello Boys or something.
Yeah, that's why
it's gonna be interesting Friday to see exactly how, because breakdancing is it's a youth thing, so it's gonna be interesting to see the panel. They may be no 40-year-old, 50-year-old.
Maybe. Hey, some of these guys, I don't know. Some of the guys on the street, man, especially the poppers and lockers, man, they be in their 50s and still dominating.
Brother Bennett, with that being said, you cannot have judges without going back to some of those neighborhoods and finding some of those original breakdancers, man. It ain't gonna make sense. And it ain't gonna be, listen, black folk, if y'all listening, goddamn it, start getting y'all ass in shape. Getting y'all kids out there and fucking doing some breakdancing. Get your old raggedy ass cardboard box. You got them in your house. You ain't doing shit. Break that shit out. Tell your son and your daughter to slide their damn head across that damn box.
Yeah, but I've seen some big boys do some crazy stuff, man. Back in the day, they're like bumblebees, man. They could still remember rerun from What's Happening. He's part of the Lockers, man. He would do all kinds of.
Brother Benny, you talking about a whole nother generation. Big boys wasn't big boys back then. They were doing shit.
Through that.
Get out there, 4 years, get your ass in the Olympics. Go do some breakdancing.
Kataria says they're gonna have B-boys and B-girls, and they battle solo and in groups.
Okay.
So they're gonna have single and group competition here in this in this endeavor. So I don't know. It gets gray, which is again I show the gray area. That's where we were kind of going over. But like stuff like shooting, for example, like archery, any kind of thing that's like a target. I mean, like where's the athleticism in that? You know what I mean? That's hand-eye coordination or whatever. You hit the bullseye or whatever, whether it be with a single gun, a rifle, a bow and arrow, or some other thing. I mean, I don't see the athleticism there to call that a sport. But I know you had that term sportsman who, usually goes out, hunts and fishes and things of that nature. But I just have problems putting that in a true sporting endeavor. I mean, some people you're just a sharpshooter. That's a mad skill. But I just have problems with that. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting in the future. Chess might very well become an Olympic one day. You never know. We'll have to see. Lou Medic says, if black dude's not competing, I'm offended. No, I can still spin on the top of your head. Shout out to Lou Medic, man. Still get out there and do it. I can still do a little pop and tick a little bit, but yeah, I'm not doing the worm or the wind.
I think it's a reason why like this thing towards the end of the Olympics, because everybody want to see it.
Yeah, it's almost like it's all shout out to KP's from. Oh, that's another one. See, Alexis. So you got Alexis, you got Delmonte Greens, you got KP from KC. Although I think he's a Bengals fan, isn't he? KP, you're a Bengals fan or a Chiefs fan? Put that in the. He
is a Bengals fan.
Oh, he's a Bengals fan. Oh, I was about to say you can add another one. So I think all these Kansas City fans need to get together and have a podcast for KC Nation. Chiefs Nation out there, but
But it's gonna be interesting. I think it's nice the way, because usually like the last days of the Olympics, they have like a lot of exhibition. It's kind of like a fun time. Like people just kind of come and just kind of hang out, since the major stuff is today. It's going to be on Friday. So yeah, that's a nice way to certainly close it out. But think about it. No brothers in this thing. But having said that, I mean, breaking has been exported for a long time. I mean, if you go to these Asian countries, Korea, K-pop, that whole thing, they took a lot of that over, man. I mean, it's
shit.
I'm just
hell wrong with it. We lose every damn thing.
I'm just saying, we exported it. We might not have kept. I remember those "So You Think You Can Dance" competitions. You had all these non-black guys on there doing crazy things. I know this one guy, I mean, he can contort himself into a pretzel and all that stuff. And it's like, man, it's like the guy had no bones. So I think it's definitely something a lot of countries have capitalized on. And, but that K-pop stuff is real. So I'll definitely, yeah.
With the Olympics, the main thing, the biggest bragging right, it's the country that win the most medals, but it's really the country that win the most golds. That's the biggest bragging right.
Right.
And right now, China and U.S. are literally going blow for blow with each other.
Yeah.
It would be something if, it all comes down to the breakdance, and we were talking about breakdance a bit about
we lose to China.
Exactly.
Then the fix is in, right? The fix is
It's crazy.
But we'll see. All right, so Katalia, I mean no offense, but again, like I said, I have very strict rules when it comes to shooting. So again, compound bow, I get it. It's definitely, it takes a lot of skill, but skill is not athletics in my view. But I respect that you have a different view of that. But I said sports, it's the athletics, it's the physical nature of it, it's the skill. And like I said, to me, you got to have some objective way of defining winners and losers. So again, a judge contest, it can hurt overall. So but again, all respect to the shooters and whatnot. Yes, mad skill and certainly for folks who do that. Again, nothing but love for you guys. But to be a sport when you're using something that's not even your physical selves, I mean, it's a difference there. But again, respect the respect the view. But we're coming up on closing thoughts, so I just want to kind of give my closing thoughts will be again a recap of the last weekend. So Terrence Bud Crawford makes his return to the ring after 1 year, after certainly a dominant performance last year over Spence, Errol Spence Jr. Certainly he has a unanimous decision win over Israel Madrimov. He moved up to 154. Didn't look that impressive, I got to tell you, because everyone's been talking about that they want him to fight Canelo Alvarez at 168. So I was already a little bit suspicious of that because of just the weight disadvantage. Also, in Canelo, he's a strong 168. This guy probably walks around 190, 195 pounds outside the ring. And I've seen guys move up to try to fight him, and they just can't hurt him. But he constantly comes at you. So I know Bud is a talented fighter, arguably pound for pound the best fighter in the world. But it may be too much. I mean, if you basically struggled, I know you had a year off. You could blame it on the rust or whatever, but don't be in a hurry to move up to 168 to try to fight Canelo. I know that the Saudis are throwing a lot of money on that fight, but I got to admit, even after that, if I was the Saudis, I'd be a little bit nervous about, hey, maybe he's not ready yet, or, I think he has to look impressive and give people a reason to think, hey, you know what, he could possibly beat Canelo Alvarez. I didn't see that in this fight. I thought that guy Madrimov was tough. He was had a jerky style. He landed some shots on Crawford. Again, Crawford's going to be taking much heavier shots from Canelo, and I don't know if he can stay up with that. But certainly he's I think a four-time champion at 135, 140, 147, and now at 154. So again, he's a very talented fighter, but I just think that going up there, it might be biting off a little bit too much that he could chew at this point. You still got good fights at 147. You got Boots Ennis at 147, which is, I think, a fight that can definitely be made. And so I will look at that as well as other contenders at 154 before you decide to make a move to go up there. So, but again, a good overall card from DAZN. They usually put on, you know, these big cards. It was actually, and it was not in the Middle East. It was actually in West Coast. It was in Cali. And so, again, good card overall. And hopefully, you know, they could continue to, you know, give us good fights. September, you know, later this month, you have some more fights coming up. September, Canelo actually makes his return to the ring, certainly in September. And you know, so certainly we'll be, you know, I'll give you guys updates on that as that fight gets closer, as well as any upcoming matches that are going to be coming up. But yeah, but Bud Crawford, again, makes his return. Unfortunately for Errol Spence, I think, you know, he had to pull out. He was supposed to have a fight coming up. He had to pull out due to some sort of undisclosed injury. Honestly, I think he needs to retire. You know, I think he's had, with the auto injuries he's had over the years, he just has a lot of physical, limitations. And, you know, the last thing you need to be doing is getting in there, getting your head beat in a boxing ring. So I hope he retires. But getting another false start, and it's going to be well over a year, it might be a year and a half before he gets back in the ring again. How rusty is he going to be should he decide to return to the ring? So I think Errol, I think he needs to look to hang them up as well. And you know, hopefully he does so sooner rather than later. And with that, but those are the only fights I talk about. Again, I don't talk about exhibitions. I don't talk about the Paul brothers. I have no interest in Paul versus Tyson, and I'll rarely be talking about it that much on this platform. You had Manny Pacquiao. He fought last week with his old self. Got into an exhibition. He got pummeled. So again, these old guys, 40, 45-year-old guys. In fact, Mayweather, he's having another exhibition bout that's coming up soon. So again, all these old guys, why they fight, especially Mayweather, he's supposed to be nearly a billionaire. Why he's getting in a ring or whatever, why people are spending their hard-earned money to watch it when you got young up-to-coming talent, I don't understand that either. But these guys just try to stay relevant. But Mayweather, he's supposed to be this big promotional company. Put a little more time in trying to build up your promotion rather than your own personal brand. But that's just me, though. But that's all I got to say on the boxing end. That's also my closing thought. But I'll turn it over to Shawnee, and you can give yours.
My closing thought is involving this whole pettiness from the NCAA when it comes to Michigan, and them today announcing this punishment. I guess I don't know how you can punish a dude who no longer works within NCAA. I had to look it up. I didn't know what it means. When they suspended, they gave Jim Harbaugh a 4-year show cause order. What the hell is that? Basically, if he ever decides to come back to college, coach college, that's when his, suspension or punishment, whatever, will be, enacted on him. I don't think Harbaugh is coming back. He did what he did. He had. That's the reason why he left 49ers in the first place, because he had a chance to coach at his alma mater. He achieved the ultimate goal. He wanted a championship. Then all hell broke loose, basically, when, I don't even know how serious it is. I just think, of course, Michigan fans, they don't see nothing wrong, and everybody who's not a Michigan fan, they want the house to be, thrown on them. Right. I just thought it was just something that was just made way too big of a deal. I have no idea why the NCAA is still. I thought they punished the dude last year when they suspended him for 6 games.
Right,
they still going after the dude. So
yeah,
now they want to stick something on there, and hey, if you come back to us, we're gonna punish you. I ain't coming back to you, man. I'm signing a good deal with the Chargers, and once this is over, if I'm done. So, it's just NCAA. They trying to get this last little dig on Harbaugh, especially since he done jumped and went to the NFL. They can't really do anything about it.
Right.
Chargers, they don't really care. They just say, man, just leave us alone right now. We in the NFL now. So that's my final thought. There's just some pettiness going on in NCAA. They got their feelings hurt.
Absolutely. Shout out to Andre Terry. Again, you missed it, buddy. We talked all about your Eagles at the opening of the segment. So you missed out. We went in on the Sirianni and Hurts situation and whatnot. So again, try to get here earlier next time. But we'll see if this thing devolves even further. We'll try to bring the topic back up. But yeah, but the first block, we were all about your Eagles early on. But thanks for showing up, certainly last minute. But Trey Ferg, as usual, you want to close us out, sir?
I just got two things. Listen, man, the Olympics are winding down. So for some of us lazy summer folks, this is still a great time to get in shape. We're coming up on the second half of the year where we are really in the second half of the year. You saw some of the top athletes, some of the best bodies that you'll probably see for the next 4 years. So it's a good time for you to jump in. And next time the Olympics come around, you get to show off your nice little bodies going into your next birthday.
And the Olympics are coming to Cali.
Yeah,
LA.
Cali, so.
I might have to put that on my bucket list. I missed 84, so I'm gonna have to make a trip to Cali for the Olympics. I don't know if I'll get too many opportunities. So Trey, we may have to make some plans, man.
Hey, I can talk about going to the Olympics too, man. I might, see.
What I'm saying? Hey, we make that a trip, man. In fact,
as far as me and things that I've got going on. I've said a few times that I've coached several years. I've actually gotten offered a position to be a assistant football coach.
Oh, wow.
Head girls basketball coach.
Congratulations.
Interview yesterday. So I'll be able to come here and give some updates about my team.
Oh, congratulations, bro. Absolutely.
It's going to be starting football, I think, Monday. And, basketball start in the spring the way they do it around here. So football, they got the fall sports, then they got the spring sports. So yeah, I'm getting back out there, man. Listen, I hear enough BS on the YouTube with the old ass people. I'm gonna go try to get these young folk to not go into these spaces, just get them to believe that they can do anything, man, just with the hard work, man. I'm not a coach that curses at the kids and all of that, but I do seem to be able to get the best. So I'm excited about it. I'm a little older, can't see a little bit, eyes gotten a little worse. So it's going to be exciting, man, to get some of these kids out here, man, to maybe be an Olympian one day. So.
Absolutely. Well, again, congratulations. I mean, again, you have so much respect for you, what you've done, certainly over the years. Certainly, what sports has done for you personally, and certainly you've been unapologetic and unashamed about sharing what you've gotten from sports, giving that to other people. And you've just been a mentor to so many young people. So again, all the respect to you, and certainly in this new endeavor, and just really appreciate all you do for the young people. So salute to you, bro.
It's gonna be like this Hoover football coach who made the news recently. Apparently, pushing, basically being abusive to his players. He got caught on video. Mm-hmm. He got punished, but he's just basically been on administrative leave. Mm-hmm. His name is Drew Gilmer. Mm-hmm. And he got caught just doing too much with his players, and it's all in the news. If you Google Hoover football coach, you'll see his story all up on that. So just don't be like that guy.
No.
Yeah.
No,
absolutely. Yeah, I think that dinosaur, that Jim, Bob Knight type of stuff. I think that era's run its course, even with Bill Belichick. I mean, certainly the way he ran the Patriots and whatnot. So I think we might be seeing an end of an era when it comes to that. Coaches today, you kind of have to be, managers of men or leaders of men, or certainly young people. Rather than being the dictator, having the dictatorship style of coaching. So maybe that might be a topic we might want to bring up on another show, talking about coaching methodologies and whatnot, and where coaching seems to be going. Again, we already see what's happening in Philadelphia. Will that be just and again, the idea that a coach tries to build around his talent. So if your quarterback has these type of abilities, build your offense around him, make him comfortable, rather than saying you got to do it my way. I think that's something that a lot of the old school versus the new school. I think that's something that people are that's an evolving,
especially in basketball.
Exactly. So again, that might be a great topic to bring up. And if we can get some guys who are coaches, or Trey, if you know some guys who are coaches, you might want to come in and chew that up. That'd be a great one. That'd be a great.
See if they can come on and.
Yeah, and I see Dante and Shawnee. I see you guys. I could definitely see you guys in a couple years coaching something. You guys both played football, whatnot, and you ran track. So I could definitely see you. I could definitely see you in the coaching ranks at some point.
Why not, man?
I don't got no teaching thing in me, man. I don't know about it. Especially in today's society, man. When sometimes it's not really the players, it's the parents, and then it's a whole lot. It's a snowball.
I can understand that, and that's another perspective. Because Trey, I mean, I'm sure you've dealt with that as well. I mean, we'd love to hear your perspective. And again, how do you deal with? And I know even BMU, I know he's done some coaching. So again, how do you deal with parents and their expectations for their kids as well as they're dealing with the kids? So,
I mean, yeah, it's really simple for me, man. I have parent meetings often.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a special player. You know, you may have all the talent, but I'm not just like praising you as far as I'm praising the kid who may not have as much talent, but is willing to put in the work. So, yeah, and I'm not afraid to talk to a father, mother, like, listen, he's good, but he ain't that good. So,
yeah,
I mean,
I hear you.
I got other kids that can play too. So,
that's right.
I never had problems, but again, it's been a few years. 2022. So.
Oh yeah. So you just took a little break. You know, you took a little break, recharge your batteries, and you're ready to certainly get out there again. And again, I salute you for what you're doing and to be useful. Certainly in these times, and I think as long as people have that attitude to be useful, then it doesn't matter what your age is. You can always be a contributor to society and certainly the community around you. So. Salute to you guys for doing that. But again, this has been the One-on-One Sports Show here on the BMU Network. Thank you for joining us, and I will give a shout out to David Burns, who at the end of the show has been watching from Cedar Hill, Texas. Good that you joined us tonight. You get the last shout out of the night. And but again, shout out to also our man Dante, who's been sort of creeping back there. You could have came up for final thoughts if you wanted to, but certainly shout out to him. We understand, do your thing, man. Handle your business. And certainly we look forward to having you on the next show. And with that, again, great show, guys. Enjoy the rest of the Olympics. Go Team USA as we try to close out both the basketball on the men and the women's side, as well as, and hopefully we can get a breakdancing gold as well. So hopefully we can get that. Then that'll be a great way to close out the Olympic Games. So we'll see you guys next week. Again, this weekend, preseason football. All right, so again, get ready for it, and hopefully we'll get some news. Hopefully this Ayuk trade situation will work itself out, so I don't have to keep talking about it. And hopefully the Cowboys. Hopefully we'll have a topic next week with your Cowboys. Hopefully we'll have a topic to talk about next week also. But again, we keep hearing. What do we keep hearing, Trey? We keep hearing those crickets. So yeah, so hopefully we can have a show where we don't hear the crickets. But you guys have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you next time. Take care.
All right. Peace.